there, ho there. You're as welcome as can be. Yes, Iowa's got it figured out, sort of. State of the Union last night. Oh, boy. And, the impeachment shit. It's all happening today. And we'll be talking about it on the Morning Night Live. Buckle up, baby! Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. Stop that music, and I think I started some new music. Now this is going to be a little different today. It's not going to be funk, but it'll be funky of sorts, kind of, sort of. I'm going with a reggae feel today, just because I'm feeling a little laid back. I don't want to get too crazy, and it's just one of them great mornings. Welcome to the Morning Night Live, everybody. This is your host, PDawg Knight. On this lovely February 5th, 2020. I hear the subtle music in the background there. You'll catch it in a minute. I don't know how well you can hear it, but I can kind of hear it. Let's see. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. What a night. What a night. What a night. You know... Well, first of all, let's get the news that broke before the State of the Union, because I think it's important to talk about that a little bit. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know where I'm at on that. So, apparently, we have a projected winner in Iowa. I don't know that they've counted all the votes yet, but, it is important that we congratulate the person who is the winner, and that would be Pete Buttigieg. There he is in his nice tan tweed jacket. Pete Buttigieg, congratulations, South End, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg is the projected winner of the Iowa caucuses. Oh, what? What? That's not Pete Buttigieg. Okay, well, anyway, I don't care. If you are following me on Twitter, I'm going to ask you right now. Please retweet this tweet. In fact, I'm going to put it in the chat. I want everyone to retweet this. This is because a lot of people are calling him the Rat King or calling him the Rat or something. And I'm thinking, nah, he looks more like Mr. Bean to me. And, but no, so Pete Buttigieg is the projected winner of the Iowa caucus. Don't worry, Bernie supporters, the DNC will make sure that it will be smooth sailing from now until they nominate Joe Biden for president. Besides, according to according to our last Democratic nominee, your guy is a suspected Russian asset. So maybe that's not so bad, right? Because at least the Russians, in theory, let us all know what the DNC was up to in 2016, so they would be forced to clean up their act. And certainly that's happened, correct? Anyway, I know some people like to think of him as Alfred E. Newman. I'm sorry, when I saw Pete Buttigieg, the first thing that came to mind was Mr. Bean. I know a lot of people like to say the Alfred P. E. Newman. And again, the Bernie bros are really pissed off right now. They're calling him the Rat King. They're putting pictures of rats on their timelines in protest of Pete Buttigieg. Why are they protesting Pete Buttigieg? What the hell did Pete Buttigieg do to you? Oh, he edged out Sander in a really weird, contested, nasty, messed up Iowa caucus. That's what he did. So anyway, let's say a quick good morning to everybody before I move on. Good morning, Della Hayes, who was first? Who gets the bell? Good morning, Advocatus Diaboli, Mr. Scott J, Chi-Town J, Jeremy Johnson, Maddie House of Geek, Attack Alpaca, Patrice Ripley, my resident K-pop aficionado. That's your official title, Patrice. You're stuck with it, I'm saying. Good morning, Tyler F, Necrosol Collins, D.I. Freighter. Who else is in here? Jason Burns, hello. Becca, who is very quick on the draw. She had the tweet out before I did, and she usually does. I don't know how you do it. You're amazing. That's why I'm saying today, retweet Becca's tweet, not mine. If you're so inclined. And also good morning to Renovacio. So, and thank you, by the way, to Chi-Town J, Necrosol Collins, and Tyler F, who also have tweeted out the tweet. Tweeted out the show. That's an extra special notification because YouTube doesn't always do its work, right? So there you go. Anyway, so that's the music in the background. Like, what's that music I'm hearing? It's my background music. We kind of got away from the old. I'm getting away from the funk just for a day. I think the subtle sounds of reggae kind of feel good in the background there, don't you think? All right, let's talk about Iowa. Because Iowa, oh my God, Iowa's a mess. It's a mess. And so apparently people are concerned about Iowa because they kind of screwed up the whole thing, and actually nothing's screwed up. That's just how the Iowa caucuses work. It's messy. People have to actually communicate with each other. Sometimes they have to convince each other, hey, you should go with this candidate. Hey, you should go with this candidate. It's not like you just go listen to a bunch of TV ads and then click a button. Like in most states, they actually work to get delegates for the candidates they want, and they have to actually, press some flesh and talk to people and convince. But there's another story in Iowa that I don't think people are hearing. And the real story is how low the turnout was for the Iowa caucuses compared to, let's just say, the last few years or last few presidential elections. The real story out of Monday night's Iowa caucus has nothing to do with the Democratic Party's vote counting debacle and everything to do with the Democratic Party's dismally low voter turnout. A presidential election is won and lost on only three things: enthusiasm, and enthusiasm. This is a Breitbart article, by the way. Presidential elections are base elections, meaning you have to get the party's base of supporters to turn out everywhere. What happened last night in Iowa was the first chance to gauge support and excitement on both sides, not to mention organizational strength, which we know Bernie has organizational strength. It's weird, Buttigieg, Okay, let me just keep reading the article. As this is John Nolte writing, as my colleague John Binder reported earlier, one vote count that was not screwed up last night was the count of overall Iowa Democrats who showed up to caucus. Unfortunately for Democrats, turnout is right around 2016 levels, or about 171,000. That's a terrible number, a number that foretold Hillary Clinton's 2016 loss to Donald Trump. Good morning, Mitch the Ripper, by the way, and Della Hayes, who just... Della, you were the first one here. What am I talking about? What am I doing? Never mind. Hi again, Dell. For context, back in 2008, the most recent prior to 2016, up for grabs Democratic primary not involving an incumbent, 240,000 Democrats turned out in the contest between Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, a record high versus 171,000. What's more, Democrats and their media allies were expecting and predicting something much closer to 2008's numbers for a couple of reasons. To begin with, there is no clear Democratic frontrunner, so voting matters. Secondly, the so-called experts in the media are dead certain there's unprecedented energy to vanquish Trump. Some party officials and campaigns were expecting far more people to participate than 4 years ago due to Democrats' enthusiasm. There's that word again, enthusiasm. Here, let me give that one a bell. Enthusiasm to replace Trump. Oh, excuse me, vanquish Trump, not replace, vanquish. Good morning, Logan F. I see you there. Oh, let's see. Replace Trump. Okay, whatever. In worst news for the Jackass Party. Oh, no. Do not steal my word. Trump. I know some people hate it when I say that, but Trump's a jackass. But that's okay. Okay? That's a feature, not a bug. I'm reminding you. And he proved it last night, and he was the most magnificent jackass on the planet last night. I'm telling you. And there's nothing wrong with being a jackass, because sometimes when you want to get shit done, you have to be a jackass. And he absolutely delivered in spades last night, and it was glorious. But I digress. Anyway, he says, he's saying the Jackass Party because of the donkeys. Okay. Because they're okay. Yeah, and worse news for the Jackass Party, CBS News reports only about 32% of Iowa caucus voters were caucusing for the first time. So these were the experienced ones, not people who are just coming out because they want to get into the process, right? Indicating a low level of enthusiasm among younger generations in the state for the 2020 Democratic candidates. This year's level of new participants was well shy of that in 2008, when a whopping 50% of Democrats said they had never caucused before. They came out for Barack Obama. That's what I'm saying. Because Barack Obama won the Iowa caucuses in 2008. They weren't too thrilled about what's her name. You know who I'm talking about. Don't be sad, though. I'm not sad. I am not sad. Good morning, MC. Hammer time! With the median age of the Democrat field hovering somewhere around Jurassic, I can't imagine why young people are turning away in droves. Well, Pete Buttigieg isn't Jurassic. But he is Mr. Bean. Anyway, on the flip side, even though President Trump's victory is assured in Iowa, a stunning 32,347 caucus goers showed up to vote in the GOP primary. That might not sound like much, but back in 2004, when then President George W. Bush was the last incumbent Republican certain to win renomination, only 8,000 showed up. So 4 times as many showed up for the Trump caucuses. Although Joe Walsh was there. I hope I can find Joe Walsh's speech. Maybe I can find it. He was talking at one of the caucus sites, and do any of you even know who Joe Walsh is? I don't mean not that Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh, formerly of the Eagles. Life's been good to me so far, Joe Walsh. Not that Joe Walsh, but Joe Walsh. You lie, Joe Walsh. That's who we're talking about. The Republican former congressman who yelled out "You lie" at one of Obama's speeches before the joint session of Congress. Yeah, that was not. Yeah, that's what he's famous for. But apparently, he's a major anti-Trumper Republican who's actually running against Trump. Also, Bill Weld, is that his name? William Weld. Yeah, William Weld is also running against Trump and got 1%. Anyway, so anyway, you get the point. The turnout was not what you would expect for a up for grabs nomination, no incumbent for the Democrats. Now again, maybe, just maybe, there is going to be a huge turnout because people just want to get rid of Trump. I don't know. I guess we'll find out, right? All right, quick shill here. As you can see in the chat, this show is sponsored by viewers like you. Support the show with your donations and have your super chats read live on the show. Click on the link that is in the chat, pdawgnight.live. That's my website for the Morning Night Live show. If you click on that link, you can make a donation to the show and you'll be a participant in the show because I will read your super chat live or on the replay, even though if you're watching the replay, by the way, make sure you make a comment in the comment section down below, please. All right. Good morning, Ricky Ravioli. That's a new name. Good morning, y'all. How's everyone doing? I'm doing great, Ricky, and I'm glad to see you here. If you're not subscribed, by the way, and you're in my chat, please hit the subscribe button and click the bell to make sure you get notifications about the show. All right, more things about the Iowa turnout. That's here's another article on it from the American Thinker. Full page, full screen right here. Depressed turnout, the Iowa story that matters. While the most entertaining story of the Iowa caucus was either the utter chaos and incompetence that unfounded or unfolded, or the sinister machinations of the Democratic Party, depending on your take on the events, the more important story is getting far less attention or media coverage. Maybe it's not that it's not getting the attention, but maybe not the media coverage that it should be. And you know what? Because I don't think the pundits want to talk about it. But when given the first opportunity to turn out and vote for a candidate to oppose President Donald Trump, Democrats largely shrugged and said, meh. Turnout was down almost 30% from 2008. Okay, now look. This article is comparing it to 2008. A better comparison is 2016, but they are about the same as 2016 when they nominated who? What was? Oh, the not president of the United States. Yes, the winner of the popular vote because of 4.5 million votes in California. You know that there's one California county, Los Angeles County. They're complaining a lot because they're saying, well, Los Angeles County has more people than like 31 of the states. Okay, well, I'm glad that we have an electoral college so Los Angeles County doesn't determine who our nation's leaders are. Sorry. By the way, hi, Reese Donald. How you doing? This is the third time you've said I'm new. You know, but you know what, Ricky? My brain doesn't always work that well. And so it's just one of those things. If I don't, some people I see their names all the time. And sometimes I see them once in a while. I'm not the greatest at checking the chat either. By the way, check your logic. I see you're here too. Welcome. How you doing? All right, moving on. This is by far the most important story out of January, which is why it will be largely blacked out by the media. While Barack Obama was not on the ballot, Democrats clearly expected a greater show of voter force when they were given the chance to do something other than howl their Trump derangement rage at the moon. Smart Democrats understand this reality all too well. Harry Enton is one of the smarter ones. If you go back 4 years ago, what the Iowa Democratic Party has said is this is about the exact same turnout, Enton observed. That is not particularly good. There is supposed to be all this excitement around the Democratic Party wanting to beat Donald Trump, and this isn't the only data point that shows that. Not particularly good in liberal speak translate to catastrophic. Hi, Lindsay. Did I say hi to Lindsay? No, I did not say hi to Lindsay. Good morning, Lindsay. The problem for Democrats is only one of their candidates excites anything resembling passion. And he is the one candidate that the Democratic establishment power players are doing everything in their power to torpedo. At the same time, they are desperately pushing the least inspiring candidate in the entire field, although that impossible dream might be over post-Iowa. For Democrats, voting chicanery is practically a national spectator sport, but one would have thought that they would have at least kept their voter fraud powder dry until they actually faced a Republican. But hey, listen now. Here's where I'm gonna look. I'm done reading this article. Look, let me just explain something to you, my viewers, which I've probably already explained. I'm going to just kick this article to the curb, and I'm going to explain this to you. And I think I said it just a few minutes ago, but listen. Remember how the last Democratic nominee for president has determined that a particular candidate from the state of Vermont is probably a Russian asset? Remember that? She's determined that he also is probably a Russian asset that damaged her chances at being the president. Hi, Chicago Mike. Look, in theory, the Russians, in theory, tried to warn us. They tried to warn us about the DNC and what they were doing in 2016. I know everyone forgets that part of the fact because somebody decided that the Russians were working with Donald Trump. And so we spent a lot of time talking about whether or not the Russians were working with Donald Trump. Now, even though we've kind of determined that the Russians weren't working with Donald Trump, because that's still a theory. It's not a... They say they call it a fact because the Mueller report calls it a fact, but they've never told us exactly any details of that. They haven't shown us any proof that, but whatever. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. The fact is, what the Russians supposedly told us through that, what's that website with the leaks and wikis and shit? WikiLeaks. Stay with me. Supposedly they told us through WikiLeaks that the DNC was cheating Bernie Sanders, who their candidate is now saying could have been a Russian asset. And so shouldn't the DNC, because they reveal, and people got fired, heads rolled when they found this out, right? But they warned us. And so the DNC surely has had time to clean up their act, right? They're going to have a fair process for Bernie Sanders, and I'm sorry, all the Democratic candidates for the nomination for president. Now, here's something interesting that I just thought of today when I was prepping for the show, and I was thinking about this whole Russian thing, and the Russians hacked the DNC so they could warn us that the DNC was trying to cheat Bernie Sanders. Do you think... so they say that the Russians were trying to help Trump, trying to sow discord and all that stuff. Now, this is not a conspiracy theory, I'm just thinking out loud. Do you think it's possible that the Russians actually wanted Bernie Sanders to win, not Donald Trump? Because they had that, because one of the things that the Russian, what's the troll farm or whatever, the clickbait farm guys, they were putting those ads on Facebook and stuff, and one of them was the Buff Bernie coloring book. I mean, that was kind of pro Bernie Sanders, right? And so I'm wondering, maybe, just because remember, Bernie Sanders, he does that socialist thing. I know he calls it social democrat or whatever shit he calls it, but he's teetering on the edge of being a communist, socialist, whatever he does. He honeymooned in Russia when it was still the Soviet Union. He and his wife, they were honeymooning in Russia, in the Soviet Union, when they were still communist. No, way long before tear down this wall, Mr. Gorbachev. Do you think maybe the Russians were actually rooting for Bernie Sanders, and they hacked the DNC because they knew that Bernie Sanders was being cheated by the DNC, and they're like, hey, no, we gotta help a brother out. No, maybe, I don't know. Reese Donald, Russians wanted Hillary to win because she could work with Russians as much as she would like to, but no one would believe it because the Russians are her enemy. Well, no, they weren't her enemy when she was playing that little reset button shit, right? And Obama clearly wasn't their enemy when he was telling the what's the guy he was talking to before? He wasn't talking to Putin, but he told the Russian president, it was different from the Russian prime minister. He told the Russian president, well, go tell Vladimir that we'll have more flexibility after the election. Oh, I should have said that in Obama voice, but I'm not very good with an Obama voice. I just think, no, I don't know. Anyway, my Obama voice is not very good. So, I'm just saying. By the way, I do have my reparations coffee in hand. There you go. And it is delicious. Somebody came in while I was talking. Was that, who was that? Someone popped in and I didn't say hi yet. Chicago Mike. No, I said hi to Chicago Mike. I don't know. I saw another avatar there that I hadn't seen yet. Anyway. No, they wanted Trump to win, so it would cause the fanatical Democratic progressive left to effectively act as Russian assets by then attacking Trump's administration and destabilize the USA. Standard tactic. Thank you, Medvedev. That's right. Hi, Peter Allman. How you doing? Oh, but wait, Lindsay, but PDawg, Bernie isn't a real socialist. You take that back. You're right. Bernie's been a communist since forever. Anyway, all right. So yeah, turnout though. So anyway, did I go on a tangent there or what? Turnout. The turnout's not that good. Not that good. Oh, by the way, just an FYI, the Iowa caucus problems stem from an app started by former Hillary Clinton staffers. I couldn't have wrote this shit myself. If I wrote a mystery novel, I could not have written this. The app wasn't included in the chair training that everyone was required to take. Everything. Okay, this is someone named Mary Chastain. Mary Chastain from Legal Insurrection. They usually like to look at legal issues, but they also do some political issues. Everything I write about in this post will no doubt add to the conspiracy theories surrounding the Iowa caucuses. After all, it centers around failed Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. Oh, Duck Dog, good morning. That's who I didn't see yet. Good morning, Duck Dog. How you doing? The app at the center of the ruckus. Let's first look at the app to count votes used by the Democratic Party. The people behind the app used to work for Hillary Clinton's campaign. CEO Jared Nyamira, product manager Anna Rao, CTO Krista Davis, COO James Hickey. The caucus app blamed for the Iowa vote count chaos was created by tech firm Shadow Inc. That's a great name. Shadow Inc.'s CEO Jared Nyamira, product manager Anna Rao, Krista Davis, CTO, and COO James Hickey all worked for Hillary for America campaign. And here's here's some receipts here. Let's see. Hang on while it loads. There we go. Let's see. Hillary for America, director of product. Oh, Jared Nyamira. There he is. Here is Krista Davis. Here's Anna Rao. And James Hickey, all worked for Hillary for America. The firm Shadow developed the app, which is an affiliate of Acronym. We talked about Acronym yesterday. It's a name of a company called Acronym, a Democratic nonprofit founded in 2017, quote, to educate, inspire, register, and mobilize voters. According to its website, sources told the New York Times that people put together the app in just the past 2 months. The party decided to use the app after the Democratic National Committee officials decided not to allow, quote, participants call in their votes over the phone. This is the Democratic National Committee. Plus, Democratic officials did not tell anyone about Shadow's involvement in the caucuses. Does it shock anyone that the party will use the app in the Nevada caucuses as well? Yeah, didn't think so. Apparently, there's some major coding errors. The Iowa Democratic Party insists no one hacked or intruded the app. Instead, a major coding error caused problems. Oh, it's a major coding error. As part of our investigation, we determined with certainty that the underlying data collected via the app was sound. While the app was recording data accurately, it was reporting out only partial data. Oh my God, we have determined that this was due to a coding issue in the reporting system. The issue was identified and fixed. The application's reporting issue did not impact the ability of precinct chairs to report data accurately. Well, then what the hell is taking so damn long? Because of the required paper documentation, we have been able to verify that the data recorded in the app and used to calculate the state delegate equivalents is valid and accurate. Precinct level results are still being reported to the IDP, Iowa Democratic Party. While our plan is to release the results as soon as possible today, our ultimate goal is to ensure that the integrity and accuracy of the process continues to be upheld. For some stupid reason, the Democratic Party didn't include the app in training for the caucus chairs. They claim they did, but others disagree. Linda Nelson, a Democratic caucus chair in Potawatomi County, let's see, Potawatomi County, that's in western Iowa, Council Bluffs. I only know that because I grew up in Omaha. In Potawatomi County, tells CNN that precinct chairs did not receive training because the app wasn't ready. Oh my goodness. Zach Simons, the party chair in Wapello County, told the New York Times the app wasn't included in the chair training that everyone was required to take. In Des Moines, Polk County Democratic Chairman Sean Bagniewski, something like that, told CNN that the app problems surfaced last week during testing. When some precinct chairs reported the trouble last Thursday, Bagniewski, he told those who couldn't get the app to work to call in their results to the Iowa Democratic Party as they had in previous years. When you have an app that you're sending out to 1,700 people, and many of them might be newer to apps and that kind of stuff. Are they saying some of the chairs might be... Wait for it. Are they saying some of the chairs might be... boomers? I think they are. Anyway, who might couldn't get blah blah blah, might be new to that kind of stuff. It might be worth doing a couple of months worth of testing. Bagniewski told the New York Times. Other problems. Iowa State Senator Pam Jochum chaired Precinct 14 in Dubuque. She said the caucus went smoothly, but she never used the app because she could not download it. To top things off, she said she could not get support from party officials to resolve issues with the app up to a week before the caucuses. They were too busy to help Jochum. Bill Bonch, caucus chair for Precinct 59, He's 10 short. Had to use a back channel. Oh, I thought back channels were bad. Aren't back channels bad? But on the night of the caucus, about 30 minutes before counting began, Bunch tested it again, and a glitch made it so that only the left side of his iPad keyboard popped up, meaning he could only type numbers and letters on the left. Well, that's appropriate. That obviously made it impossible to use. Brock called the Democratic Party hotline and was told to change the setting and unload the app and then reload it. That required me to access my Apple password, which I did not have with me. How, you don't know your damn passwords? Good Lord. He probably has it written down on a notepad on his desk at home. So at that point, the app wasn't on my iPad. He said with a slight laugh, meaning when people began caucusing at his site, they had no app to use. Botch then turned to the traditional way, over the phone, but was initially put on hold for 15 minutes before hanging up. Hey, at least he wasn't that dude who went on Wolf Blitzer's show who had been on hold for an hour, and in the middle of the show, the party person answers the phone, but he was in the middle of an interview with Blitzer, so just as he got done with Blitzer, he went to go talk to the guy, and they had already hung up on him. That was classic. Okay, I think you get the gist of this, right? I definitely think you get the gist. It was a shit show. Anyway, by the way, have you tweeted out Mr. Bean yet? Thank you, Mitch the Ripper. I appreciate you also tweeting out the show. Thank you very, very much. Hit that share arrow, people. Share, and share alike. All right, let's talk briefly about the State of the Union. Hey, Gunfox, how you doing, man? Hey, I write all my passwords down for everything. You know what? Some of us older folks have to do that, right? See, I have a system. I shouldn't tell. I'm not gonna tell you my system, but my passwords. My passwords are not anything that anyone could guess, but I know what my sequence is on all my passwords. It's like I have this weird sequence password. So, if someone tried to steal my identity by figuring out my wife's maiden name and the last 4 digits of my social security number and all that shit, they still would never find my password, because none of my passwords have anything to do with anything about my family or where I live. I just have these odd words that I use that people be like, what? Why? Because my wife asked me, had to use my password for something. And she's like, why is it, what is that about? I said, I don't, because it's because no one can figure it out. Ghazi Relaine, how you doing? Or Gasai, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Hey, I don't remember my password because now you can never use the same one, so it's constantly changed. I know, at work, one of my passwords, the password you have to change every 30 days. It's annoying as hell, but I have a system for that one too. And you know what? Because it's a word that has nothing to do with me, and then I just change it by, well, I have a sequence that I use, and it seems to work. Let's see. All right. Yeah, password. Yeah, and keeping your passwords difficult too is probably a good idea too. Reese Donald, by the way, hello. And hello, Mitch too. 4321 Drowsap, which is password backwards. That's hilarious. All right. Hey, by the way, this show is sponsored by you. Support the show. Hey, Johnny Hellcat, what the hell? We have a birthday in the chat. Whose birthday is it, Johnny? Whose birthday is it? Well, Johnny, let us know whose birthday it is, and we'll have to do something special for their birthday. All right, I gotta scroll down a little bit because there's a whole lot of little clips and things I gotta show you here. So, the State of the Union last night. Oh my goodness. So first of all, there's a whole lot of chatter going on, and you'll see when we get to Twitter trends how certain events or certain Oh, it's your birthday, Johnny? Okay, well, there we go. Man, I use serial numbers for equipment at work. Oh my gosh, that'd be tough too. First of all, before I continue, let's everybody give a big happy birthday to my man and the first person ever to watch the Morning Night Live officially, my man Johnny Hellcat. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Johnny. Happy birthday to you. You get 3 bells, Johnny Hellcat. Happy birthday, Johnny Hellcat. And you know how much I appreciate you being a part of the show since the very first day I put this bad boy on the air. Thank you very much. 21? What? Wait, no. Oh, no. Johnny 21 was the last birthday I look forward to. Johnny, oh, no. Johnny's not 21. Johnny's got to be older than 21. Johnny remembers things that he should remember if he were 21. Maybe not. I don't know. Johnny will tell you how old he is, but happy birthday, sir. Thank you very much. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the State of the Union. First of all, it was people weren't sure what to expect. Some people thought it was going to be, a real negative sidewinder. Some people thought maybe Trump would talk about his impeachment or something, because they're still not done with that impeachment shit. They'll be done with that today. But the president of the United States spent most of the speech talking about the successes that he and our country have enjoyed during the last 3 years of his presidency. And that's kind of what the State of the Union is for, to tell you, what's the State of the Union? What's happening? What's going on? And so he spent most of the speech touting the economic success of the country. Good morning, Straits with Mail. How you doing? Okay, so, and now, but before he even started, there was a minor incident. And people are talking about this on Twitter, talking about the handshake or the lack thereof of a handshake, because Nancy Pelosi put her hand out to be shaken. And, wait a minute, pause here, make this big screen, and we'll put it on full screen here. They're making a kind of a big deal that maybe she felt like she was snubbed with this handshake. Now, watch. This is after. Now, first of all, too, she kind of broke protocol as far as how you introduce the president of the United States. And I noticed that immediately. And because I've watched a bunch of State of the Unions, I know how the normal introduction of the president of the United States goes. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But she flubbed that. Anyway. So the president comes up and he has copies of his speech for the vice president and for the Speaker of the House, who are sitting behind him at the desk, right? And so Donald Trump comes down, has his copies of his speech, and hand them out. Now watch this. Now and you'll see where the president hands the speeches to them. Nancy goes to shake his hand, and Donald Trump doesn't shake her hand. And at first, from the angle that they were showing, I thought, well, maybe did he actually snub her? I thought, damn, he kind of just snubbed her. But then I figured out later something different about this. So watch this real quick. I'm going to go back a little bit. Here he is. He grabbed the 2 little speech things here. Here we go. Watch.
Not a lot of exchange there.
So he immediately turns. Okay, now notice. She sticks her hand. I'll show it to you one more time. And then she makes that face, right? Because like, oh, she was going to shake his hand, but he didn't shake her hand. But if you notice, look at the angle of his face. Well, first of all, notice also, he's just handing them the speech. He's not there to shake their hands. He doesn't shake Mike Pence's hand either. So he hands Pence his speech, he hands his Pelosi his speech, and he starts to turn around. So I'm kind of thinking perhaps he did not see her extend her hand. Or at least out of the corner of his eye, but it was too late by the time he was turning around. He didn't turn back. We'll watch it one more time.
There.
Okay, he turns right away, and he doesn't really notice her hand. He just turns around and gets ready to do a speech. All right, so a lot of people complaining about that, saying,
Not a lot of exchange there.
All right, so there's that. And then also people are making a big deal about at the end of the speech when Nancy Pelosi deliberately rips the speech up when he gets finished, like in disdain. And also, now at first when I saw this, I'm like, I said, okay, she clearly is just fuming right now. But it looked like a damn temper tantrum. She was kind of having this little temper tantrum all through the speech and making funny faces and not sitting just stoically like everyone does and just get through it. It's almost like, who's the child in the room during this speech? It certainly wasn't the president. The president just gave his speech, did his thing, didn't really necessarily acknowledge or make a point to rip her at all, even though she did this whole impeachment inquiry bullshit, right? But anyway, so here's the clip of the here, hang on a second here, at the end of the speech when she very deliberately, very pointedly rips up the speech behind him, and she's actually looking right at the back of his head while she does it.
Absorbing the applause right there. He came out of reality television and he displayed that talent tonight. 78-minute extravaganza.
She looks like she is furious. She is just pissed off. Oh my God, it's crazy how mad she is after the speech. And then she even said later that it was the most polite thing she was willing to do. Good morning, by the way, Kingslayer Damocles. Good morning. Someone else came in. Grisella, how you doing? Wikipedia snippet. I'm so happy that you're here. Hi there. Oh, you didn't see it because I didn't put it on the screen. Let's do this again. We'll have better angles in a minute. Here it is. There she is. Looking right at him. That's not even the best. I had a better video. I must have been doing the other.
78-minute extravaganza touched emotions both high and low.
All right, so she's clearly fuming. We'll see that in the Twitter trends. Now the speech itself, oh boy. All kinds of things going on in the speech. Oh shoot, I almost forgot about this. Let me I gotta put this one open somewhere else because there's some humor in it. And Trump had a pre-State of the Union lunch with anchors from a lot of the news networks. And he left out CNN. Oh, poor CNN. Even MSNBC had a representative at the lunch. Now, not necessarily on purpose, but he did have Chuck Todd there at the lunch, and apparently they were yucking it up, and the Daily Beast did an article. It's supposed to be an off-the-record lunch, but the Daily Beast did a whole article on it. They were just, somebody decided to leak to the Daily Beast what was going on at this lunch and whatnot. But there's salt from the CNN stuff. Apparently there's some people, some of the Congress creatures decided either to not show up, or they decided that they were going to basically just sit on their hands the whole thing. And so even when this young lady here was honored, Stephanie and Janiah Davis from Philadelphia, the little girl got a scholarship. Oh yeah, it was kind of Advocatus Diaboli. You get a scholarship, and you get a medal, and you get your husband. Yeah, it was like watching Oprah. But he's a reality TV star, and okay, I know I'm going off on disjointed directions here when I'm speaking, but I'm reading the chat at the same time. So he gives a speech, talks about all the accomplishments that basically it was a lot of it is his campaign speech, but hey, it's also what's happening in the country, right? The economy's doing great, the unemployment's low, the stock market's high. He brings up all these points and just one after another, all the great economic indicators, right? And the fact that they're the largest producer of oil in the world. Now, that happened during the Obama administration, but that's okay. We are. He didn't claim it. He just said, yes, we are now that. We did this. We're doing that. We've got our 2 new trade agreements, one through Mexico and Canada, and they just signed a new trade agreement with China. After all that fight about tariffs and stuff, they're starting a new trade agreement with China. He's getting the shit done that he said he's going to get done. He's got 100 miles of wall built, even though part of it got blown down by wind. But that's the new part. They got to fix that. Whatever. The things he campaigned on, he actually has been working to get done. Okay? And so he basically listed all these things, and the Democrats sat on the hand for the most part. They couldn't even be okay. And then he brought some guests. His guests were pretty good. Okay? A guy who, a vet who was, had lost his job and was homeless for a while and whatnot, and he got a job because of the opportunity zones, and now he's a construction contractor, and he's got back with his family, and he's doing well. And then they had the guy who, the kid who wants to be an astronaut, he wants to be on the Space Force, and his great grandfather was one of the Tuskegee Airmen. If you're not familiar with the Tuskegee Airmen, they were a group of black fighter pilots who escorted bombers, and they are the one unit that never lost a bomber that they were protecting. They never lost one, and the guy, it was his 100th birthday too, and the president gave him they made him a brigadier general. That was cool. Also, this could be a hit or miss for most people. Rush Limbaugh, who is sitting right next to the first lady. You may like Rush, you may hate Rush. I don't care. He is legendary as a broadcaster, okay? Now, you may not like the type of broadcasting he does, but he has been in the game for 30 some years. And he was sitting there because they just announced he had cancer. And President Trump, and this is this is where you have to be somewhat of a jackass, but in a good way, right? He didn't give a fuck about what people thought about it. He presented Rush Limbaugh with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Now, that's the highest civilian award you can get as, it's not the Medal of Honor. Some people say, oh, why would you give the Medal of Honor to a non-military person? Because it's not the Medal of Honor. It's the Congressional Medal of Freedom. If you look at the list of people who've won the Congressional Medal of Freedom, there are inventors, there are business people, there are athletes, there are entertainers. It's a civilian award. Okay, gave it the Presidential Medal of Freedom right then and there. Just turn and bam, they had First Lady Melania Trump put it around him, and Rush was. Now, they'd already talked about the president giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, but Rush wasn't expecting him to do it right then and there at the State of the Union. So you could see the surprise on Rush's face. And whether you like Rush or not, Rush absolutely loves this country. Okay? So for him, where no other president would have the balls to bring him to the State of the Union, even if they did support him, President Trump did. And he was very obviously moved by the fact that they did it right then and there during a State of the Union. Pretty cool. It's just pretty damn cool, right? So yeah, and Rush Limbaugh has done a lot for charity. I respect Rush Limbaugh, and yes, he has said controversial things. And if you go to Media Matters, you would think Rush Limbaugh is a avid racist trying to beat down people, even though Rush's best friend and producer is Bo Snerdley, the black man, right? Bo Snerdley's been there from day one. So maybe he said some edgy jokes or whatever, you know, when you could still be edgy, but whatever. He said something. Yeah, he said some dumb shit that some people take wrong or take as whatever. But he's been, he's a prolific broadcaster, you know, probably one of the most listened to people in America as far as talk shows. And, you know, it's cool that Donald Trump doesn't give a shit and is going to, if he's going to give him that, he's going to give him that. And that's what he did. All right. Now that certainly pissed off every Democrat in the House, but whatever. Let's see. Let's see. Here's, okay. The government feed. Okay. I'm just going through the Ace of Spades thing. Yeah. Here's a picture where he honored Rush Limbaugh. Trump tells Rush he'll receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Someone started cutting onions. Some people were found it very amazing. Now, and again, Rush knew he was. They'd already talked about it early in the day, but I don't think Rush knew he was going to get it right then and there. So that kind of, you know, Rush is a jackass, but he's also a compliment here. Yeah, Rush is a jackass too, but guess what? In his business, you kind of have to be a jackass. That's just how it is. Let's see. And here's, okay, we already did the rip up of the speech. Also, he surprised a military spouse, Amy Williams, with the return of her husband. Here's that.
War places a heavy burden on our nation's extraordinary military families, especially spouses like Amy Williams from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and her two children, 6-year-old Eliana and 3-year-old Rowan. Amy works full-time and volunteers countless hours helping other military families. For the past 7 months, she has done it all while her husband, Sergeant First Class Townsend Williams, is in Afghanistan on his 4th deployment in the Middle East. Amy's kids haven't seen their father's face in many months. Amy, your family's sacrifice...
Okay, now, really quick. You know something coming up, because look at the look in Melania's eyes. She knows what's coming up here.
She has done it all while her husband, Sergeant First Class Townsend Williams, is in Afghanistan on his 4th deployment in the Middle East. Amy's kids haven't seen their father's face in many months. Amy, your family's sacrifice makes it possible for all of our families to live in safety and in peace, and we want to thank you. Thank you, Amy.
And wait for it. If you didn't see it, wait for it. We're going to have our Oprah Winfrey moment here.
But Amy, there is one more thing. Tonight we have a very special surprise. I am thrilled to inform you that your husband is back from deployment. He is here with us tonight, and we couldn't keep him waiting any longer.
Aww. Aww. What? What are you talking about breast implants for? Okay, I missed something. All right, so anyway, that was a tear-jerking moment in the State of the Union last night. Also, he also welcomed Jody Jones, who's the brother of Rocky, whose brother Rocky was killed by an illegal immigrant released under California sanctuary laws. Yeah, he threw down the gauntlet on the sanctuary cities. Here's this part of the speech that I think here. Yeah.
Sanctuary with catastrophic results. Here is just one tragic example. In December 2018, California police detained an illegal alien with 5 prior arrests, including convictions for robbery and assault. But as required by California's sanctuary law, local authorities released him.
Wait. I hate to do this to you, but I have to go back. Let's just go back a few seconds here. Does Kamala look happy right now that he's talking about sanctuary laws? Now, and Kamala's a prosecutor.
But as required by California's sanctuary law, Local authorities released him.
Oh, she did not
Days
look happy.
later, the criminal alien went on a gruesome spree of deadly violence. He viciously shot one man going
Nancy
about
looks
his daily
furious.
work.
Look at Nancy. Look at
He
Nancy.
approached
Look
a
at that.
woman sitting in
Nancy
a
looks
car
like she wants to
and shot
swallow her
in the
dentures.
arm and in the chest. He walked into a convenience store and wildly fired his weapon. He hijacked a truck and smashed into vehicles, critically injuring innocent victims. One of the victims is a terrible, terrible situation. Died, 51-year-old American named Rocky Jones. Rocky was at a gas station when this vile criminal fired 8 bullets at him from close range, murdering him in cold blood.
Nancy looks
Rocky
like
left behind a devoted family.
Nancy looks like one of those airline commercials. You know what I'm talking about? Want to get away?
Including his brothers, who loved him more than anything else in the world. One of his grieving brothers is here with us tonight. Jody, would you please stand? Jody, thank you.
Now, what he said after this was also pretty wild. He said that he is introducing a bill to Congress where the victims' families of sanctuary cities where people have gotten killed would be allowed to sue the state who did a little catch release on those people. Because he talked about it happening in California and New York. I don't know where there's other sanctuary cities. California, they've made the whole state a sanctuary state. The city of New York recently had a bad situation where they released somebody and that person killed somebody. And so he's going to he wants Congress to pass legislation allowing Americans to sue sanctuary cities if something like that happens. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen because the Democrats are in power. But this is one of those areas where they're thinking, okay, can he get a new Republican Congress with this kind of things? So, it's all strategy in the State of the Union. Obviously. Now, here's some of the, I do have an article here. Let's see, who's this by? I can't remember which one this is. From America Greatness. State of the Union. Hang on, full screen. State of the Union clarifies the choice in November. It boils down to a love for Americans and our liberty versus a lust for power and control over others. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, after his State of the Union address Tuesday night, this much appears to be true. His speech was an astonishing display of power and grace. Power based on a list of accomplishments that seemed like it had no end, and grace as it showed how he had delivered results as president for all Americans, improving their lives no matter their race, gender, age, ethnicity, or political party. And it was all done in the face of a consciously planned series of coup activities that began before his election, as escalated upon his inauguration, and are ongoing. This is what Tuesday's speech left me. This is D. Hawthorne. I don't know who that is. American Greatness, though, is a conservative website. This is why the speech left me with an indelible impression of Trump as a no BS CEO presenting an amazing stream of accomplishments at his annual shareholder meeting. Of course, this CEO did it in the face of dissident shareholders wearing white and proving themselves perfectly unwilling to acknowledge the success of the country or the people he honored. His speech crushed them by drawing explicit attention to the contrast between his factual accomplishments and their stubborn beliefs that already have, or if actually implemented, would only hurt Americans. That they could not applaud the things that turn out to have helped the people they claim to represent spoke volumes. And I thought one of the biggest lines he had there in that speech was about how the the accomplishments or the improvements that have happened to the economy have helped the blue collar worker the most, which is interesting. He's going for them people in Pennsylvania again, and Ohio, and Michigan, and Wisconsin, and Minnesota. He's pushing for those blue collar workers, and he spoke to the blue collar worker. He didn't give a shit about the people in Congress. He doesn't. He cares about the people who work for a living, and that's what his speech. That's what his speech was all about. Talking about how incomes rose faster for the lower, the lowest 10% more than the upper 1%, and things like that. Hello, Maniac Man. By the way, how you doing? Grisella, have a good day. Thank you for being here. Hit that like button, and hopefully we'll see you another day. Thanks for coming by. And what a Reagan-esque closing about the greatness of America and America over the centuries, during which the Democrats largely sat stone-faced. Perhaps that was even more telling. Yeah, their inability. There were people who wouldn't even stand up for the Tuskegee Airman guy who was his 100th birthday, and they honored him and gave him and made him a brigadier general on his 100th birthday. Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib wouldn't even stand up for that. And so they weren't. Anyway. Of all things, Trump has been criticized for. Nothing, absolutely none of them comes close to being as shameless or classless as what Nancy Pelosi just did, ripping her copy of Trump's speech in half moments after he finishes his address, a friend wrote. An insult to all the people he just acknowledged, whose names and deeds are noted on that paper. Hello, Kingslayer Damocles, by the way. As William B. Allen has said, you can't love America if you don't first love Americans. That difference, a love for Americans and our historical liberty versus the lust for power and control over others, sums up the ongoing turnaround choice before us in November. Okay, so D. Hawthorne is a businessman and a writer. One of the things I did last night, I watched both the president's speech and I watched the response speech, which was, I wish they would just dispense with the response speech. They're never good. They're always in a setting that isn't conducive to comparing to a State of the Union address. They could do it on another day or something like that, or write something in an editorial or whatever, which, the Democratic response. Anyway, I'm watching all of this on C-SPAN, right? So what C-SPAN does, and they don't have commentators or whatever, they don't have talking heads telling you what to think. They just have 3 phone lines, one for Republicans, one for Democrats, and one for independents. And so they take turns on each of those lines, taking the calls on each of those lines. Surprisingly, Nancy Pelosi's stunt, tearing up the speech immediately on camera, that pissed off a lot of people, and it was surprising. The people calling on the Democrat line were also pissed about that. They thought that was completely classless, and some of them, even though they are still going to vote for Democrats, they thought that was an awful thing. Now, I personally got a huge laugh when she did that. It was so utterly disrespectful. I mean, pointedly disrespectful. And there was plenty of people cheering that too, because they think that Orange Man bad, Orange Man not really president, not my president, right? But the people who are cheering it are partisans. The people who are cheering it spend all day on Twitter talking about politics and how terrible Trump is. Most people in the country, if you go out in the country, I spend my day every morning talking about politics or current events, but I go out in the real world and people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about most of the time. Okay, because I spend my time all the time reading about this stuff, reading the different outlets and learning different opinions. But most people don't do that. They just see the State of the Union address where a very upbeat, positive speech by the President of the United States talking about the accomplishments and honoring people in the gallery, and then seeing this supposed leader of the Democrats and the Speaker of the House making faces and grimacing and pretending like she's fucking. It looked like she was grading papers during some of the speech, you know, and then pointedly ripping it up, knowing that she's on camera. That didn't play well with people who aren't into this shit, okay? Who aren't absolutely dedicated, absolutely committed, okay? There's a lot of voters out there that really haven't even thought about the politics bullshit because they think this shit takes too long. But they might just happen to see a clip of her doing that at the State of the Union because it's the #1 trending thing in the world right now. And so it's just I'm just like, that ain't playing well. What are you thinking? Thank you, Cryptic. There's my first super chat of the day. With the $5 super chat on the Streamlabs, we got Ask Lady Boomer for permission so that you can give Nancy a good dicking. Oh my God. That bitch looked like she needed a dicking. Cryptic. You know, I've seen you on other people's shows, and you tell the really bad jokes, and I'm thinking this is one of those. Maybe 50 years ago, because she was a nice looking young lady back in the day. No, please stop, please no. Lady Boomer's not going to give me permission for that anyway, and I have no desire. But you might be right. Okay, thank you for this. Thank you for the super chat via Streamlabs. All right, you know what? It is actually time for Twitter trends. I was going to talk more about the speech, but I'm not going to because I'm just gonna. I got to get this over with for today. There's so much to talk about. But there is one article I absolutely have to touch on because this I found humor. Oh, good morning, Six. Good morning, Kingslayer Damocles. And it is Check Your Logic's mom's birthday today. Is your mom here? Check Your Logic, out of curiosity, or is she nearby? What's her name? If she's nearby, and what's her name? Not with a rented dick. I wouldn't do it with. I would. No. I know I'm going back and forth. This is a very disjointed conversation. One article I got to hit though before I go into Twitter trends. Apparently, there's a Democratic supporter of Mayor Pete who was shocked to learn that the candidate running on the brand identity of "I am gay." She didn't know he was a homosexual. The Democratic Party, the party of intellectual elite. Now, look, this is. I mean, look. Both parties have their people who have no idea what they're talking about and don't know anything, and what's okay. It's just how it is. It's not everyone's going to know about politics. However, a caucus goer in Iowa retracted her support for Democratic candidate Pete Buttigieg after asking if she could take her preferences card back after learning that he was in a same-sex relationship. Oh my God. The interaction occurred between two women in the middle of the caucus event Monday night in a video that went viral. In the video, one woman wears a pin that labeled her as a precinct captain for the Buttigieg campaign. The other woman wears a Buttigieg sticker and a bright green pin for the campaign of Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar. Let's just show you. Let's just show you how this one turned out.
Came
So
over
are you
to
saying that he has a same-sex partner? He? Yes. Yes. Are you kidding? Yeah, he's married to him, yes. Well, then I don't want anybody like that in the White House. So can I have my card back?
I don't know. You signed it. We could go ask.
Oh,
I never knew that.
these
The whole
racist,
point of it is, though,
homophobic,
he's a human being,
xenophobic,
right? Just like human
transphobic.
beings. Should it really matter? That's what
Democrat.
Well, he better read the Bible.
in
he
Iowa.
does, and he says that God doesn't choose a political party because,
Why does it say in the Bible that a man should marry a woman then?
well, I totally respect your viewpoint on this. I so totally do.
No,
but
you
I
don't.
think that we were not around.
How
when that
come
was
this has never been brought out before?
It's common.
How? Wait, did you hear it? What did she ask? What did she ask?
We were not around.
How
when that
come
was
this has
being
never
written.
been brought out before?
How come this has never been brought out before? Lady, what the F are you talking about? What the? His whole campaign is well, it's not all that. You know what? Here's the thing. One of the things I like about Buttigieg, even though I'm not going to vote for him, is that he's just a guy out there campaigning. He doesn't spend his whole time talking, I'm gay. Hey, I'm the gay one. He just is a man. He's just a guy, okay? And yes, he has a same-sex relationship, and I don't care. I'm not voting for him anyway, but this lady, how did he not know?
I never heard it.
Look at the, oh, wait, hold on. Look at this. Hang on, hold up. Look at this lady's face. Look at the lady next to
I
his
never
face.
heard it.
So what the fuck? You didn't know?
We can talk to someone if you need to talk to them about this. I don't know the rules on this or not, but I guess what I would like you to just dig deep inside and think, like, should it matter if it's a woman
at his
or
last
if it's a
name.
man?
No,
or
that
if
is not.
They're heterosexual or homosexual. If you believe in what they say. That's my question.
It all just went right down the toilet, is where it all just went.
Oh, this poor lady. Now here's the problem. So this clip went viral. I'm not going to show you any more of it, but my God, that poor lady. Can you imagine the shit she that's the 100,000 fucking letters and just the shit she's about to get. I mean, I get that, you know. Oh my God. You know, and right or wrong of her opinion there, her life is over. I'm sorry. It's just sad. It's just sad. Anyway, let's get into Twitter trends today. At the top of the Explore tab today, the Chiefs Super Bowl parade. Fans are already lining up for the Chiefs Super Bowl parade. Woohoo! Congratulations, Kansas City Chiefs. People are making early trips to line up along the barricades to celebrate the 2020 Super Bowl champs. If you're a Chiefs fan, you are excited today. Breaking police chase along the... Oh no! You gotta be kidding. There's a police chase along the Chiefs parade route. Look at this. Hang on, I'm gonna put this out.
And people are running. Damn.
Check this out. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh, a car? Guns are drawn. Oh, seriously?
They've got, look at this guy in the cars.
Look at this car. What the fuck? Oh.
Is that all of it? No, it's still going. Hang on a second. Oh shoot, it's froze for a second. Can you believe that? Oh, here we go.
People are running. Damn.
This is along the parade route of the Chiefs parade.
Look at that truck. It's gonna block the way. Oh my God. It's still going. Oh my God.
Well, that's a little scary. I wonder how much they're going to get for that footage. Come on, here, escape there. Anyway, people are lining up along the route, and there's a police chase in the middle of the route, the Chiefs parade route. That's kind of scary. All right, number one trending today. Oh, it's gone. Well, now look, this has changed quite a bit today. Originally, when I opened the show, it was Pelosi Tantrum was trending number 1 and Nancy the Ripper. But now trending number 1 is Nancy Pelosi Rocks with 38. Now look, this is Twitter manipulating the trending topics. Look at the number for Nancy Pelosi Rocks, 38,700 tweets. Nancy Pelosi Tantrum, 149,000 tweets. Number 2. Number 3, Nancy the Ripper, 32,800 tweets. So this is Twitter manipulating the trends today. Nancy Pelosi Rocks, let's click that one real quick because some people are very happy. Well, Kurt Schlichter, Nancy Pelosi Rocks Iowa Democrats. Kurt Schlichter, yeah, it was genius for Pelosi to seize the news cycle by acting like a fool. Slay Queen. Nancy Pelosi Rocks. And Kurt Schlichter did 3 in a row here. I love the Democrats talking themselves into thinking their performance at the State of the Union was genius. Slay Queen. LOL. Nancy Pelosi Rocks. If you are not a partisan, if you are in the middle going, okay, what am I going to do? And you see the difference, the contrast between the president's upbeat, success-oriented speech versus the Democrats' behavior during the speech, you're probably going to go, wow, these guys are kind of assholes. Not standing up for certain people, not doing, her ripping up the street, her ripping up the thing. Now, lesson to every guy out there, don't ever try to bullshit a woman. Oh, isn't that cute? ABC News. Pelosi says she tore up her copy of President Trump's State of the Union speech because it was a manifesto of mistruths. Oh, well, help explain to us what it was that was untrue about it.
Why did you tear up the speech?
Because it was a manifesto of mistruths.
And what do you think about him not shaking your hand? Were you invited to another State of the Union?
She may not be speaker for the next one. Hopefully not. I'm expecting another president. Hey! We might be expecting another Speaker of the House, too, because your challenger in San Francisco, and they're in your district, is one of those, what do you call them? Social Democrats who are becoming really popular in very liberal areas. And they're not happy with you. I don't know if you'll be the Speaker of the House, 1. And 2, Trump will probably still be president for the next State of the Union. I'm sorry. Let's see, the Daily Edge, Republican snowflakes getting wee-weed up about Nancy Pelosi need to watch dear leader disrespecting the national anthem like a bratty 5-year-old with ADHD and shut the fuck up. Nancy Pelosi Rocks. Aww. Thank you. Oh, Sandra Bernhardt, the fantastic actress and comedian, lovely lady. Thank you to Speaker Pelosi for calling it like it is. Lying horse shit. At this point, what's left to say? We must forge ahead, stay focused, and rally behind the candidate the people choose. I got a feeling the people are choosing the candidate that's already in office, but that's just me. Dean Obadiah, TDS extraordinaire. Trump. Is Trump more outraged? 1. Nancy Pelosi tore up this white paper, which is symbolic of the end of the white supremacist power struggle he's desperate to defend. 2. Trump simply hates strong women. 3. Both. What the hell? What is all this crap popping up? I don't want any of this up here. My Xbox game bar. I don't want that. I must hit something wrong there. Okay, there we go. Nancy Pelosi Rocks. Lie after lie after lie came out of Trump's lying Trump's mouth at the sham State of the Union, where orange asshole took credit for President Obama's work when it was good and lied about President Obama continually and everything else. Good for Nancy Pelosi ripping up that trash. Oh, there it is. Peter Morley. Speaker has consistently found a dignified way to make clear she is not going to normalize the president's behavior. She walks a line of respect in the office, and to say what the president says is fake, false, and rooted in a lie. Aw, yeah. Is that what
and
he
trying
said?
to make sure people understand the president should be, in most all cases, respected, and that event is a dignified event, and she conducted herself that way. But she also has an obligation, we all do, we just spoke about it, to find a way to make clear that what the president's saying is fake, it's false, it's rooted in a lie. And I think she found a way to do that, and I'm proud of her.
Well, there you go. That's what's known as spin. All right, moving on. Number 2 is also about Nancy Pelosi. Pelosi tantrum. Nancy Pelosi tears up President Trump's speech following State of the Union address. Let's look at a couple of these, too, because it might be a little different. Nancy Pelosi doesn't harbor any... Nancy doesn't harbor any hate in her heart for Trump, you guys. She's a Catholic. While Pelosi tantrum is trending, as an Iranian, I like to focus on the words of U.S. President Donald Trump on Iran. He stands along us Iranians, not the mullahs, and I respect that very much. Thank you, President Trump. Wow, that's something. Someone here named Hezmat. Oh, this is Heshmat Alavi. He's again, even if whether positive or negative. Don't go after anyone I talk about on these on this show, please. Here it is. As an Iranian, I'm very glad to see U.S. President Donald Trump once again stand alongside the Iranian people. Unfortunately, Barack Obama chose to stand alongside the mullahs regime who continue to murder the Iranian people to this day. So that's a pretty strong statement. It's perfect that Pelosi tantrum is trending. What a humiliating night for her all the way around. Nance, you might want to go ahead and rip up those impeachment articles while you're at it. Today's going to be a good day. Oh, my God. Who liberals hate? Pelosi needs to go. Pelosi tantrum. Yeah, so she ripped this up. And these are the people that were in that, the people who were in the speech. This is them. Quite a diverse group there, isn't it? I thought President Trump hated minorities. I just saying. It's an official circus at this point. It really is. It's all now. It's just and so look. If it's going to be a circus, I'm glad that President Trump's the head clown. Okay, he's the. You know what? Again, Trump's the right jackass for the job. Because all these politicians are jackasses, if you ask me. Anyway, Tim Pool. Everyone loves Tim Pool. Or not. Nancy Pelosi's tantrum was a huge error on her part. Democrats needed to keep the news cycle focused on Trump's speech as their key talking point was that Trump was lying. In her rage, it seems she just shifted the entire conversation to decorum and her pettiness. You know what? That's pretty astute of Tim Pool. Early this morning, I think it was Sophane had replied to him, and we had a little exchange, but it was friendly, even though I kind of made fun of him for a second. Moving on, Nancy the Ripper is trending. I'm going to skip that one because we know she was the Ripper who did it. Now it's trending. It's switching again. Now that's funny. So this Pelosi tantrum has gone up by over 20,000 tweets, and it's still now they've moved below. Okay, so has Nancy Rock. So maybe it's right now how they're trending. But Nancy the Ripper's only gone up by about 1,000. This Pelosi tantrum's gone up by 20,000 since we started talking about it. Nancy the Ripper's gone up by 1,000, and yet they moved Nancy the Ripper above it. This is Twitter manipulating the trends. They do that. They decide what's going to trend, and they can change it however the fuck they want. It is their website, but still, just let you know that they are a publisher. We're going to talk about why Twitter's a publisher tomorrow. They have some new guidelines of how Twitter's going to work in the future, and I'm going to have to talk about it because it pisses me off. All right. Pete Rose is trending. Pete Rose asked Major League Baseball for reinstatement. Cite no punishment for Astros players for electronic sign stealing. There cannot be one set of rules for Mr. Rose and another for everyone else. Rose's 20-page petition to Manfred says. That's interesting. You know what? Pete Rose was kicked out of baseball for a gambling scandal. And I don't know if you even know it's for cheating, but for a gambling scandal a long time ago. But Pete Rose also, in my opinion, should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame for his play. But because he has been, because he was banned from baseball, he is banned from being in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I think personally he should be in Cooperstown, because the Cooperstown is not a Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. It's a Baseball Hall of Fame. There's college coaches and players, whatnot. Whatever. His play certainly earns him right to be in the Hall of Fame, even though he was banned from Major League Baseball. I don't know. Did they ever let Shoeless Joe Jackson back in? I can't remember. Anyway, maybe if they didn't, then of course they might not allow that. Anyway, that's why Pete Rose is trending. Moving on, NGWSD. Lean her forward. What the hell does this mean? Oh, is this that women's soccer? No, it's not. Creating. Oh, happy National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Okay, we have a national day for girls and women in sports. Look, as a parent of two athletes, my daughter and son were both athletes. I applaud this. Okay, creating a legacy and breaking barriers for the next generation. I don't know what their barriers for sports are now for women. In the past, certainly there were, but okay, I don't understand. I don't understand the are there barriers? Okay, so here's one. First female coach in Major League Baseball history, our very own Alyssa Nakken. Okay. I don't know if there's a need for it, but if she's a good coach, more power to her. Good for her. Happy National Girls and Women in Sports Day. They have pictures of some basketball players. These are, looks like WNBA players or something. Yeah, or just whatever. I guess I don't know if it's necessary or not, but more power to them. Good. All right. Billie Jean King says, happy National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Did you know that 96% of women in the C-suite played sports? I don't know what the C-suite is. Join the Women in Sports Federation, keeping girls and women playing the sports they love by supporting them at all levels. Okay, here's the problem. Women's professional sports, some will be supported and some will not. Okay, the Women's Soccer League is going to struggle. The WNBA still hasn't made money in 20 years. I like the WNBA. I live in a city where they've had several championships, but they just don't have the fan base. It's not as exciting a game, okay? It is a good game, and I enjoy it personally, but I know that not everyone's going to enjoy that game. I'm a basketball guy. I will watch the WNBA, but most people won't. Just not exciting to them. What are you going to do? You're going to force them to go? Because they already give away half their tickets as it is. But whatever. Good morning, Functional. How you doing? I'm glad you're here. It is what it is. All right, moving on. Doug Jones. Oh, Wednesday. Our first day trend. Wednesday wisdom. Liberty Nation's at the top. This year is not likely to bring real change to Baltimore. The GOP has not yet embraced a more inclusive strategy, and the Democrats know that voters have snubbed the opposition party for generations. It's saying, because they're with Elijah Cummings passing away, will Kwame Mfume become the next Elijah Cummings in a low turnout? Now, I'm going to guess this is by Jeff. Yes, it is. It's by Jeff Charles, who is, what is he called on Twitter? I can't remember off the top of my head. Jeff, the Liber Conservatarian or something like that. And he writes for Red State and for Liberty Nation. And he makes some really good points about the GOP trying to make inroads into traditionally black communities and stuff like that, and how the GOP is not real good about supporting candidates. So they give up on it. And so they're not building anything because they don't go into these communities and support the candidates. And then, which there's, really the black community, so to speak. There's a large number of conservatives in the black communities, but they stay with Democrats because there's no real outreach by Republicans. And so he's been talking about this a lot. I'm going to have him on this show one day, I hope. That's a goal, because he has some great ideas that I think are important if Republicans want to make more inroads into minority communities. Now, one of the things you can do to make inroads into minority communities is something that's happening right now. Have a great economy where people see that, oh, the reason we have a great economy is because of some of the things the Republicans did. But sometimes that's not enough. You still got to go actually talk to people, have to touch people. You have to support candidates in areas where you may lose. So if you don't start, if you get a candidate that's going to lose maybe this time, but people recognize some of the things that person is saying, and you get some people on board, you get more people on board the next time you do it. So you have to actually support those candidates, even in those areas where you think you have no chance. And that's something the Republican Party does not do. They don't do a great job of supporting down the line candidates, and they need to get better at it. And that's basically what Jeff Charles is saying. So I'm not going to read the article, but that's kind of his point. And I think he is absolutely a valid point. More Wednesday wisdom. To be rich is not what you have in your bank account, but what you have in your heart. That is some great Wednesday wisdom. When in doubt, go to the library. I love that idea. Read more. I think everyone should read more books, not just shit online. I'm just starting a book that I found in my basement. I don't know what I did with it. So it's about great words. It's a book of quotes that I'm going to go through. When people say happiness is the most important goal in life, I'm curious about why character isn't higher on the list. I'm all for the pursuit of happiness, but above that, I hope people care about moral values like justice, integrity, respect, and compassion. All right, there we go. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's our Wednesday wisdom for the day. Moving on, Doug Jones is trending. I think they're having their hearings right now. Doug Jones is voting like he's got a chance of winning a full term in Alabama. Better play is to keep your friends in D.C. for an appointment in a future Democratic administration. Perhaps then vote like a red state Democrat in hopes of another major upset back home. Did Doug Jones just say he's not going to vote for impeachment? Here's Lisa Booth, somebody named Lisa Booth. I wonder what kind of pressure tonight's speech puts on Senate Democrats like Joe Manchin, Doug Jones, and Kristen Sinema. Kristen Sinema did an interesting thing. She actually stood up and applauded for some of the things that Trump said when no other Democrats would. And, of course, she's on a hot red state. In fact, go watch Razor Fist's latest video. I might click it in the chat, but I got to move along here. Congratulations, Doug Jones, on joining Harvard IOP next year. I don't know what that means. The precedent for Doug Jones voting to remove Trump is that he also sent the KKK to jail. So I think he gets it. Okay, Doug Jones did he vote to convict Trump? Not at all surprised by Doug Jones' decision to convict Trump. He was a heroic civil rights lawyer. He actually cares about justice. He believed Christine Blasey Ford and voted no on Kavanaugh. Nobody is perfect, but Jones will be treated well by history. No, he won't. He's going to get voted out right away. Okay, here it is. Doug Jones will vote yes on both articles of impeachment. After many sleepless nights, I've reluctantly concluded that the evidence is sufficient to convict the president for both abuse of power and obstruction of justice. Yeah. No. All right. Impeachment is the only check on such presidential wrongdoing. No, it's not, you dumb shits. If they really, first of all, oh my God, they're not. Oh my God, never mind. I'm not even gonna get into it. Oh, there you go. Cynical Lindsay linked Razor Fist's video in the chat. Thank you, Lindsay, for doing that. Moving on, Newt is trending. Why? Newt Gingrich, probably. President does major crimes, felonies that would get any other citizen arrested in jail. What? Oh, wait a minute. Give me the statute, dipshit. Sorry. Newt, meh, we won. Get over it. Pelosi tears up paper printed with a lie after provable lie. Really? Lie? You have to prove it then. Don't give me some receipts, buddy. This is an unforgivable action. The speaker must be censured. Okay, Newt Gingrich, as Speaker of the House for 4 State of the Unions by a president of the other party, I am disgusted and insulted by the viciously partisan action of Nancy Pelosi tearing up the speech. She isn't clever or cute. Her childish insults our American tradition, or childishness insults our American traditions. She should be censured. Okay, so people are ripping on Newt for saying that. And then people bring up all the shit that Trump says. Okay, yeah, that's just. I don't know if that's bluster or if he sincerely means that. I mean, it's. Okay, here's what it is. Signs. It's sign of the times, whatever. I'm not going to sing the whole song. All right, so that's why Newt's trending. People are telling him to shut up. Shut up, Newt. You're not allowed to have an opinion. World Read Aloud Day. Hey, I'm pretty good at that. The day is finally here. We would love to wish you a happy World Read Aloud Day. Let us grow the reading revolution today and celebrate the joy of reading. That was something that we did with our kids from the day they were born. Every day, for at least till my daughter was 12, we read books before they went to bed every single day. It was amazing how their vocabulary grew when they were just tiny little kids. My daughter was saying, 3-4 word sentences and 4-syllable words when she was like 2.5 years old, because we read all the time. Every night before they went to bed, we'd pick up a book and we read to them. And when my son was born and he was just a baby and she was 2, we would read and read and read, and man, it's amazing. All right. Oh, U.S. Code S18 and SS2071 for relevant laws about Pelosi tearing up the speech. Interesting. I might have to look that one up. All right. One of our favorites, World Read Aloud today, some book called Undefeated. I'm not familiar with the book. It's probably about Jack Johnson. Okay. Oh, The Undefeated. It's about some African-American heroes. Great. I want African-American kids to read more. I want Asian kids to read more. And I want Hispanic kids to read more. I think all kids should read more. Put the phones down and open a damn book. Also, an interesting quote I heard the other day. About kids and phones. Kids imitate what you do, not what you tell them to do. So if you make a habit of reading books, your kids will also read books. Just saying. And our kids loved to read when they were young. Okay, now they eventually got into the electronic stuff and blah, 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 blah. But they still both read quite a bit, which is kind of cool. I wish we read more, but I started a book. I just started a book yesterday. It was more a book of quotes, though. So it's not really reading, but it's interesting quotes by famous people. Anyway. Today is World Read Aloud Day. World Read Aloud Day was founded in 2010 by Lit Worlds Says to celebrate the joy of reading aloud. What book will you read aloud today? Well, I'm reading aloud tweets about reading aloud. All right, moving on. It's National Weather Person's Day too. Yay! Okay, is it a bad thing? It read National Weather Person's Day as National Weatherspoon's Day. I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm disappointed once again as my sleep-deprived eyes read National Weatherspoon's Day. Another did it. National Weather. Okay, it is National. Okay, whatever. If you have a favorite weather person, if you're familiar with, who's that Aussie guy that has the web? He has a YouTube channel and he just does funny narrations, and he found a weather person from Mexico that he really likes. She's a fine individual. Anyway, happy National Weather Person's Day. Trayvon Martin's trending today. Trayvon Trayvon Martin was killed at age 17. Today would have been a 25th birthday. We honor Trayvon's life by fighting for racial justice, calling out the rise in extremist violence, and pushing back against the proliferation of guns. Huh? Trayvon Martin should be turning 25 today. Instead, we're just a few weeks away from the 8th anniversary of his racist killing. Okay. Trayvon Martin's death was senseless, but it was senseless in the idea that he attacked a dickhead with a gun, okay? And, you know, even though I'm not a fan of George Zimmerman, by all accounts and evidence, he attacked George Zimmerman, had him on the ground, and was killed in the process. It's an awful tragedy. But, you know, showing the cherub face pictures of him 4 years younger than when he was actually killed, I don't know. I'm not going to tell. It's a shitty situation that got blown up in ways that there was no winners. And rest in peace, Trayvon Martin. It's unfortunate that you were killed in the way that it happened. That's about all to say. Impeachment Day, also trending. Senate impeachment trial, final votes are expected. The same people who are offended by the Super Bowl halftime show are the same ones who support a president said, just grab her by the pussy. Well, first of all, it was a tasteless joke among two guys that wasn't really just, you know, whatever. Reject the cover-up. Oh, yeah. Reject the bullshit impeachment. I'm going to say the same thing. And there's an ad by Adam Schiff that's out here. We're not going to watch it. Trump should be convicted, but we all know he's going to get off the hook. That's how corrupt political systems work. There's no such thing as democracy anymore. Not in the USA, not in the UK. Boris Johnson views Trump as his mentor. Oh, so now they're going to play Boris Johnson. Now, it's funny because, you know, if you go by what the House managers said and say that this is actually something that he should be removed from office for, well, Bill Clinton did commit a crime, and it's a fact that he committed the crime. There's no disputing that he committed the crime, but is it something you should be removed from office for? Should be impeached for, you know? I don't know, but if it is, then sure, then Trump should be removed too, but they don't even have a crime. It's just fascinating. Donald Trump, we are sick of you and your family. Resign, make this go viral. Oh yeah, let's make that go viral. So it is impeachment day, where he will not be removed from office. They're going to bring up Charlottesville. They want to impeach him for their hatred of him. For everything else, not because of this incident. They've been looking, they wanted to impeach him from the beginning, and they just need to find their crime, which they haven't completely found. Moving on, Petty Pelosi, we know that that's trending. Wednesday motivation will skip. NSD 20, something about, it's National Signing Day for college football, so you're going to have a lot of kids on Twitter today signing with their colleges they're going to. There'll be just tons of them on here, and schools who are excited about kids who are signing with their school. I'm not going to do that too much. State of the Union 2020 is down at way down at 16. Well, probably because Nancy's temper tantrum overshadowed the State of the Union. Breaking, patiently waiting for Speaker Pelosi to say that Donald Trump made her rip up his State of the Union speech. Donald Trump has officially broken the Democrats. It's over, finished, TKO. Laura Ingraham, reality show antics is how CNN's Kate Budland just described the State of the Union 2020. No, there were beautiful moments celebrating brave, sacrificial Americans and our national comeback. There you go. And there you go. Another State of the Union. Nancy Pelosi ripping up the speech, giving a nasty look the whole time. She said, fuck this shit. I'm done with this State of the Union, you asswipe. Didn't look good for her. And Chiefs Kingdom Parade. Super Bowl fans are already lining up. We already talked about that. Wednesday vibes, National Signing Day. GOP betrayed America is the final. Is the hashtag that's trending. Who's ready for the GOP to further betray our country? Today they will show, again, their true colors. They don't care about the law. Yeah, they kind of do. And you haven't really convinced anybody that this was a good idea. Oh, here are the Republicans up for re-election in the Senate in 2020. Vote them out. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure the Republicans will still hold the Senate. They may not be able to make a dent in the House. I think they're going to hold the Senate and the presidency in 2020. Just an opinion. Who knows? Anything can happen between now and then. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for today. ADOS reparations. Where we're going to... Okay. Bye, Reese. Have a good day. Just because one party is an asshole of a human being, Zimmerman does not exonerate the other party of their action. It's not always a black and white scenario. Exactly, Rinavashi. I agree with you 100% there. Trey, he attacked a guy with a gun and got his balls blown off. Another thug dead. The world is a better place. I think Trayvon Martin probably... I realized that Trayvon Martin attacked him, and that's what happened. I don't necessarily know if Trayvon Martin was a thug, but he sure thought he was that night. And that's a thing. We just, you know what? If someone's bothering you, just don't fuck with them. You don't know anymore who has what, and that's what happens. It's just a shitty situation, and he should have just kept walking, because Zimmerman wasn't chasing him. Zimmerman was going back to his car, and it's just a shitty situation. I didn't want to finish on Trayvon Martin, but hey, let's call it a day today. Thank you all for being here on the Morning Night Live. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 3 p.m. GMT for people in other parts of the world, which I have several friends from other parts of the world that come here on a regular basis. Also, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button on the way out. There's a lot more people here than likes. Hit that thumbs up, except for Duck Dog, who has exclusive permission to hit the thumbs down button. Also, if you want to make donations to the show or to PDawg himself as some voluntary reparations or coffee fund, however you want to call it, you can do that through the Streamlabs link in the description down below, which also gives you a super chat where I will certainly read your super chats on the air when we are live. And if you do it after off hours, I'll read it in the next show. I am very, very cooperative with your super chats. Thank you so much for being here. If you are watching this on a replay, please make a comment in the section down below so that I know you're here. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe and click the bell. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. I gotta go. My name is PDawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here.